All right, and we are back like a heart attack. It is the third Thursday already in January. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for January to be over. We're starting with the weather because that is definitely the hot topic of the day. And oh my, okay, so the weather right now outside is 78 and sunny in Miami, but not Metro Detroit. All right, here's what this looks like here, guys. And this to me is just some craziness. Okay, I'm gonna move this up the screen a little bit. All right, so here's what we got coming down the pipe. We've got like this polar vortex thing with exploding trees happening and everything else, all this nonsense. It is literally going to be 0 degrees tomorrow, and that's not the wind chill. It is going to be 0 on Friday. It's going to be -7 with the wind chill, and we're already seeing a whole ton of school closings happening right now in real time, and the list is being updated. So I'm going to pull up the list, but the list that I would use is the Fox 2 list. That's the most updated one. Also, because I'm a little partial to Fox 2 News because they have me on all the time, talk about real estate, do a real estate segment a couple times a month or once a month. But that said, I'm going to bring that list up in a second. First, as always, I want to start with where y'all coming in from. Are you in Michigan? Are you outside of Michigan? Are you in Southeast Michigan? Are you Detroiters? Are you Metro Detroiters? Are you in Florida? Where are you laughing at me from Florida right now? Because I got to go out in this cold after this live to get home. Where are you coming in from? Let's see what we got in the comments. Okay, I got a Troy, Michigan. All right, so your experience, Jim, you are just as cold as I am. Absolutely. Got a Monroe, Michigan. Okay. Hey, Barbara, stick in because we got a story that is happening in Monroe right now. I don't know if it's cool or not, but it is going to be in Monroe, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. At least I got to try it once. We got a Monroe story for the first time ever on this live. So definitely stick in. All right, where else we coming in from? Got a Lansing, Michigan. All right, where our lawmakers are. Awesome, awesome. I mean, probably should have mentioned that, but whatever. There's going to be, governor's race is heating up. We know that. Love to hear more about what's going on in Lansing right now. Where else? Where else are we coming in from, guys? Oh, got a Northwest Chicago. Nice. I appreciate you. Chicago is kind of like the sister city of Detroit, little sister, because, Detroit rocks. All right, I'm going to keep on going. So we've got that whole polar vortex thing going on, which is crazy. Of course, we've got a 0 degree forecasted for tomorrow, literally 0 without the wind chill. It's going to be -7 with the wind chill. And we've got a whole ton of school closings, which I'm going to get to right away because I want to note one thing on these school closings. Let's bring that up on the screen. Hold tight with me, guys. This is going to be really fun. Let's do that. Let's go to that one. We're going to add in. Let's share screen. And as always, guys, I go to my friends at Fox 2 when I'm looking at school closings. Why? Because they have me on their show from time to time. And I really appreciate that. Okay, guys. So here is the entire list of school closings, which right now is literally massive. Massive. I'm talking like the majority of Metro Detroit is closed. So if you've got kids and you're wondering whether or not they're going to school tomorrow, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to school. With one exception. I want to put up here. Let me bring this one up on the screen here. Yeah, it's still not on there. Okay. The University of Detroit High School, U of D, go Cubs, men for others. So that is my alma mater. That is the high school that I hail from. I was fortunate enough to go there as a kid, and these kids, these Jesuit priests are a little on the tough side. They're telling these kids they got to get in and they got to lock in and get to school tomorrow. And I think that's hilarious. I mean, Notre Dame Prep's on here, Catholic Central's on here, Orchard Lake St. Mary, Roper School, DCD, Detroit Country Day, University Prep and Design. Literally Royal Oak is on here, Novi is on here, Northfield, like there are so many different districts that are on here. Yet for school closings, U of D Jesuit has decided to remain open and force those kids to go out there in that cold weather. And I love that so much. I just think that that's hilarious. All right, we're going to be getting to our next story here in just a minute, which is actually a big one. So this one's been in the works for about 2 years now. Let me remove that, add that. This is actually really cool, or at least I think it's really cool. But then again, it's for the kids. There we go. Now let's get this up on the screen. All right, guys. After 2 long years of duking it out, we finally have a bipartisan bill that's going to ban cell phone usage in public schools. Now, what does this look like? So there are actually 2 different bans going. So the first ban is you can't use it during instructional hours. So guess what? Eyes up front, eyes up front. No looking at the phones anymore. Teachers are loving this, by the way. A poll of teachers resoundingly over 90% said that they would love to ban during instruction, but not necessarily ban cell phones in school in general. So the second bill bans them from the school premises. Which will probably not get passed. That was an older bill, not going to go, but is expected to hit Whitmer's desk. It's got one more vote to go, but it was voted 34-1 in favor of banning cell phones and cell phone usage during class instruction. Now, this one's a very tight bill. So a number of school districts have already done the ban. Ann Arbor is a very notable one that put that in place, have already done the ban. But this would actually make it a requirement. Now, school districts will have the option to make it more strict if they want to. So they can actually say, okay, not only do we want to ban cell phones from the classrooms themselves as far as using them, but you won't be able to take them out of your locker maybe, or you won't be able to even bring them on site maybe. Now, this is a good thing and a bad thing. So there are proponents for not bringing them onto the campuses, onto the school campuses, and there are proponents saying that we need them on the campuses in some form, right? And that it's okay to have a cell phone maybe in a bag, because if something happens, like the tragedy in Oxford as an example, it would be good to have cell phones readily present and available. Now, it's expected that the teachers will have some form of communication to be able to call police or do whatever they need to do. But the going thought is that the more cell phones that there are at least available, the faster the response and the reaction time. So that's kind of the con measure of that. So the very first bill back in 2023 was, we're going to just ban them altogether from the school campuses. So that's actually been scaled back. There's a little bit of pork in it as well, but that's been scaled back to, okay, you just can't use them during instruction time, which I think is just fine. What do you guys think? Throw it in the comments if you think that's going far enough or not going as far as it should. Honestly, let's be real. I didn't have a cell phone growing up, but then again, I grew up in the 90s. Like, we drank water out of the hose. We were out until, the street lights came on. Like, it was a different time. It was a different era. Anyway. So let us not forget that cell phones do reduce the amount of information that students are taking in. And then as well, one of the other studies that came out is by banning cell phones in schools, it's also, so one of the issues with cell phones, especially Instagram and TikTok and social media, is it's greatly reducing the attention span of people, because it's all quick dopamine hits. Okay. Actually, Matt Damon talked about this, of all people. He said he wanted Netflix to, now that Netflix is buying all these different studios, he wanted Netflix and the Netflix studios to literally repeat the plot 3 or 4 times of a movie, simply because people are not paying attention to movies anymore. They're watching part of a movie, they're looking at their phones, they're scrolling, they get distracted. It all plays into it together. So I think that's a good thing. All right, moving on to the next story. We got a lot of stories today too, by the way. Like, this is a packed week, which I can't even believe. All right, so I thought this one was actually really interesting. Is it really news? Probably not, but we don't just do news, we do interesting stuff as well. All right, so let me get this up here. Now let's bring that to the stage. Stop. No, I don't want to name myself something different. Come on, StreamYard. There we go. Okay, guys. So these are the top 10 Michigan roundabouts with the most accidents in 2025 or 2024. I'm sorry, crashes in 2024. So basically, guys, this is what you want to avoid. These are the intersections you definitely want to avoid in Metro Detroit. And if you notice, well, not just Metro Detroit, but Michigan, but if you notice, almost all of them are like right where we travel, right where I travel, at least. I mean, you've got the one over at 18.5 in Van Dyke, number 1 with 162 total crashes, 12 injuries. Yeah, that Martin Parkway at North Pontiac Trail, I've literally witnessed an accident there. I didn't see the accident happen, but I saw 2 cars off the side and a police officer. 151 crashes. 151 crashes. And that's not even the most busy roundabout. Orchard Lake and 14 Mile Road, I've literally almost been clipped multiple times there. Throw in the comments if oh yeah, I already got a comment on it. Yes, roundabouts. Get rid of all roundabouts. Yeah, well, I don't see that happening. I'm so sorry, my guy. But roundabouts, nonetheless, there are a lot of accidents. Lee Road over at Whitmore Lake, State Road over at West Ellsworth, Oakley Park and Martin. Oh, wow. That one's actually right by the other one, actually. Go figure, by the Martin Parkway and North Pontiac Trail. Sprinkle Road, never been there. Drake and West Maple. It's over by that Kroger, right? There's like a Kroger there, and I believe there's a Little Caesars in there or something else, and it's just like a little mall thing. Yep, that one I've definitely seen an accident before in over the last 10 or 15 years that one's been in use. Remembrance Road at Wilson Airport or Wilson Avenue. Nope, no idea where that is. If you know where that is, throw that in the comments because I'd like to know what city. It's in Walker. That's why. Okay. Yeah, nobody's going to Walker, Michigan. Sorry. How is Walker, Michigan, population of 6, have 38 total crashes? Is that like one really bad driver that just gets hit over and over and over? Could be. Actually, I have an agent on my team that has literally been in 3 accidents in 2 months, or maybe 3 months. And the going bet is how many is she going to be in this year, which I think is hilarious, by the way. But she wasn't hurt. No injuries by either driver, and that's why we can laugh about it. But we are seeing, I'm not even kidding, we are seeing a lot of accidents at these roundabouts. And there's actually people that have been petitioning the state to get rid of the roundabouts because of exactly how dangerous they are. Whether that's going to happen or not, I highly doubt it, but it is on somebody's radar somewhere. Okay, let's get to our next story. Let's see where we're going this week. Oh, yeah. We're going to Detroit. We're going downtown. Well, we're not going downtown, but we are going to Detroit. Let's see. Nope. Come on. Share screen. This is actually, I think, a good story and a positive sign for the city of Detroit. Okay, let's bring it up. Mary Sheffield is coming out swinging with her initiatives and the changes she wants to make to the city and the good that she wants to try to do to the city. So a couple of things is she did run as a Democrat, just like Mayor Dugan did, and she is departing from his platform. Now, she mentioned it. She said it several times where she's not trying to undermine the previous mayor. She's not trying to say that he did anything wrong or bad, but that he was very, very focused on numerical metrics like growing the population of Detroit and how many billions of dollars were being spent there as far as economic impact, which is not, those are not bad metrics when you're rebuilding a city. But then a lot of Detroiters feel like they've been left behind. If you're one of those, throw that in the chat. If you feel like you've been left behind with the previous administration, in the previous city council, and just over the last 10 or 12 years, where you feel like, okay, the focus has 100% been on downtown, but the neighborhoods around downtown or outside of downtown have kind of been left by the city government and not a lot of improvement has happened. Now, there are some neighborhoods that have really bounced back. Palmer Park or Palmer Woods, University District, Bagley Community, Rosedale, Woodmont, Grandmont, Boston Edison. But there are some like Trinity that just kind of stagnated, right? And a lot of residents are feeling that. So one of the initiatives that she's trying to do is bring more city services, more infrastructure, and more improvements outside of downtown, including things like grocery stores and shopping areas, like high quality ones. So that's one of the initiatives to try to increase how well people are living outside of downtown, which is interesting because that has not been the conversation for the last 12 years. I'm not knocking the previous mayor. I'm a huge fan of the previous mayor of Detroit. I just think it's very cool that she's trying to encompass the city as a whole instead of just working on a section. That said, that section needed to happen first. We needed people to get back into Detroit and spending money at places like Little Caesars Arena, at places like Comerica Park, or the restaurants, or the shopping downtown, bringing in Gucci and Le Labo, a Nike store. All those places needed to happen because you need to bring revenue and tax dollars in. Then you can start working you can start working on the rest of the city. So Detroit, and I don't know if you guys were aware, I mentioned on my live last week, had a $105 million surplus, which is very cool. It is out of the last 13 years, 11 of them, there has been an actual surplus, which is amazing and astounding because it wasn't that long ago under Mayor Bing, we were headed straight to bankruptcy. Literally, like bonds are being called due by bondholders, 500 million of them. If you guys remember, Mayor Bing actually had the DIA appraised and valued in the case that they would have to liquidate the art and sell it to pay back the bonds. And that was the wake up call the city needed. Mayor Bing really wasn't going to actually do anything around the DIA as far as selling it. But it was a wake-up call that both Detroit and Metro Detroit and frankly Lansing needed to say these are exactly how dire the straits are and the immediate improvement and the median bipartisan support we need for our city. And frankly, guys, it worked. It scared the heck out of everyone because let's remember the DIA, the Detroit Institute of Art, is the #1 museum in the United States. And to sell that, one of the crown jewels of Detroit, would have just a catastrophic impact. So what is she prioritizing? She's prioritizing, of course, the neighborhoods, right? Trying to bring in things like grocery and stores and services and city services. She's trying to reduce red tape, which I really appreciate. She's mentioned that multiple times. Housing. So she's trying to work on partnerships to bring in more affordable housing and really capitalizing on the opportunity zones that are in the tax code right now, that were started in 2017 and then continued and expanded upon with this new tax bill. And then third, of course, she's looking to change the tax code and tax structure for the city. So Detroit has the highest taxes in Michigan. It's over 63 mills in most areas and most zip codes in Detroit. The problem being Detroit values, good thing, went up rapidly, right? It did. Like for a hot minute, we were beating Miami for like 18 months as far as appreciation goes. Corktown over an 18-month period saw a 100% appreciation, a lot of it due to Michigan Central and all of the infrastructure that was going in there and a couple of new restaurants that went in. If you have not been to Grandma Bob's, my friends, go to Grandma Bob's. If you've been to Grandma Bob's, throw that in the chat. If you've been to EMA, throw that in the chat. If you've been to, I don't know, there's a million great restaurants downtown right now. But if you've been to any of these places, or let me know in the chat what your favorite Detroit restaurant is, whether it's new or old, I don't really care. Could be there 50 years, could be there 5 minutes. I want to know where a good place to eat downtown is. As a side note, guys, on Saturday, we had like kind of a guys' night out. We went and did like the Top Golf Simulator over in the Cambria, which was great downtown. It's not called Top Golf. It's called something else. It's called, I don't know. It's one of the golfing things. But then we went over to Penny Reds because Penny Reds over in the Brakeman has literally the best fried chicken in Detroit. And if you say otherwise, I will fight you right now. I will give you my address. It is literally the best. If you haven't had it, get there and try it. I got a burger as well as the wings, of course. The mac and cheese, stellar. Anyway, so the tax changes that she's trying to bring about has some issues. So you can do so much with changing the tax that the city charges on property taxes, but the greater bulk of the tax rolls up to the state level and then goes back into the city by means of schools. So there needs to be actual legislation passed by Lansing, and then it's got to go to the voters so that places that people are feeling like they're getting way overcharged for taxes because it's an antiquated tax code. Places like Detroit, Grand Rapids is on that list, Flint, Pontiac, so that we can readjust to a much more normal tax base. I had actually put a reel out about this not too long ago, and someone had asked me, said, hey, look, I'm actually kind of interested in moving back to the city of Detroit. I moved out a while ago, but I'd be curious to look. My home is worth about $500,000. What could I get for $500,000 in Detroit? And first, he was astounded by what he could get. I mean, I'm a real estate agent. It's what we do. By the way, if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in Metro Detroit or Ann Arbor, use the Perna team. We've got over 3,000 5-star reviews, and we are here to give you the best possible service that this industry can provide. As dictated by our reviews, of course, or evidenced by. Anyway, so he started looking at those houses and saying, man, there's some real cool, affordable properties. If I sell my house at 500, I buy the next one at 500. I already have a 6% interest rate because I just bought a few years ago anyway, so that doesn't go up. But his payment would actually go up literally $1,000 a month. $1,000 a month. Why? Because as we looked at the taxes, when they were uncapping from the taxable value and moving up to the state equalized value, it was such an outsized number. So the city that he was living in, the millage rate was 38 mills per thousand. The city he was considering, Detroit, 63 mills per thousand. 63, almost double the amount of taxes for the same exact priced home. That has been an ongoing issue for the city of Detroit. The city council is trying to reduce taxes how they can. So there's a proposal right now that would reduce taxes about 11%. That's kind of working its way through committee. It's not enough. It's something, but it's not enough. Another idea that's been floated, and one that I think would actually be good, is they're considering a 1% sales tax in the city, which would raise about $75 million to offset even more tax changes or even a tax credit if Lansing fails to act. Which I'm not saying that is going to fail to act or not. I'm just saying if it fails to act. Again, I don't comment on politics. I never take a side. I go straight down the middle because I'm just talking straight facts, right? I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't do any of that stuff because facts are facts and that's just how it is, right? Comment if you believe facts are facts. Ooh, I got a comment on there. Detroit taxes are fine. Be well. Thank you. You also be well. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Carla. And stick in. We got some cool stuff coming up. One thing I want to note is there was and I didn't pull up any footage on this. I did a reel on it, and I also did a very long YouTube video on it, as well as a blog post. And I did an email warning to people. So there was a couple that had bought in Detroit, in Corktown, in 2023. They bought a duplex, and the duplex was owned by the same person for about 30 years. They paid $450,000. And their thought was, we love the city. We want to move back up from Florida. And when we do, we're going to move into Detroit proper. They got whacked with a $20,000 tax bill. I want to say that again. They got whacked with a $20,000 tax bill. The previous taxes on that home was $3,500 a year. It rose up to $20,000. That's a $16,500 raise in taxes when the taxable value reset to the state equalized value. That's $1,375 per month. Unexpected that the tax bill went up. That's craziness. Like, most people expect, okay, because the taxes are going to adjust, I might see $100 shift, maybe a $200 shift per month in my mortgage statement when the taxes adjust, right? Because they adjust once every 6 months in Michigan now, not just once a year, actually twice a year. And that was due to the 2008 recession. But no one was expecting $16,500, not on that house. $20,000 tax bill for a $450,000 house. I believe it's egregious. Yeah. Okay. That's a great comment. I love that. So that is sales tax on top of the income tax and the property tax. That sounds like a losing formula. That's really interesting. And I really love that comment. I appreciate it. I think personally, the income tax in Detroit needs to go away. I think it's antiquated. I understand why it's there. Several major cities in the US have it. I personally believe it to be antiquated, and that needs to be looked at as well. I think if we can use the 75 million from the potential sales tax, the 1% sales tax, to offset the property tax decrease so we can get property taxes in line. I'm not saying raise it, but do nothing with it. I'm saying raise one a little bit and lower the rest, because what we have right now is we have a lot of commerce and a lot of shopping and a lot of spending and a lot of dining and a lot of hoteling from people outside the city. Right. So there are a lot of people that will go down for a Lions game, but then drive back up to Birmingham. There are a lot of people that will go down for a Tigers game and get back out to Novi. There are a lot of people that go down and eat at the great restaurants and go to Campus Martius and skate and do all the things, but then they drive back to their low tax area like Livonia. Right. I'm not saying that Livonia is low taxes. I mean, taxes are taxes. I believe we're all paying too much, but I think I would be in favor, and please comment your thoughts, guys. I would be in favor of a 1% tax, because I think that would affect more people outside the city that are coming in for fun, which is a choice. If we can lower the property tax, which is not a choice right now, it's something that's forced. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, cool. So this was do a downtown sales tax only if that's possible. Actually, that is possible, because you can get down to the zip code with taxes. So, okay, here's what's interesting. So New York does this, and London does this, where you have a drive tax. So when you drive into a certain part of London, or you drive into a certain part of New York, your car gets picked up, the license plate gets picked up, and you get a charge. I forgot what the charge is called. If anybody remembers it, let me know. But the technology is there that it happens, and it's a congestion charge. That's what it's called. The concept behind it is New York and certain areas, and London especially the Mayfair area, is so congested. If they throw a tax on it, then it becomes more of a choice. I can choose to drive there, or I can use the underground, right? Public transit. And if I use the underground, then I'm not taxed. If I choose to drive there, then great. That's my choice, right? Or I can park just outside the area and then walk in, because London is also a very walkable city, and so is New York. So yes, that's a great comment, where if they can do just a certain area, you are able to section out, let's call it Corktown, Midtown, downtown. Yeah, let's just say those three areas, just as the example for now. But you can section out those areas, or you can do something like what Las Vegas does, and does like a hotel tax, or what some of the other places do, and just do a restaurant tax, right? And even though it would reduce the impact of what you can bring in, even at 75 million, maybe that gets reduced to 40 million in revenue for the city. It's still something to offset taxes. That's a great comment. I love that. That's such a great idea. Actually, you know what? I know you're on as unlisted, so I'm just going to call you unlisted. I'm so sorry. I usually try to call people by their first name. I'm actually going to write that down. And then after this, I am going to write, and yes, I have written president's letters. I've written governor's letters. I've written mayor's letters. I'm actually going to write a mayor to Mary Sheffield's office and deliver your idea to her. If I have your permission to do it, of course. Thank you. Thank you for that comment. I love that. Okay, we're going to move on to our next headline. What is up next? I don't even remember. I got so off pace and just winded. Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep on getting off track as I do. But I love it so much because I always want to take these things where you guys want to go. So I really, really love the comments, and thank you for that. I appreciate you. And keep them coming. Thank you again, Unlisted. Okay, let's see what we got next. Yes. Okay, so this is actually, I think, pretty cool. It's also kind of crazy. There it is. $9 million home sold for $800,000. Detroit's largest house at 35,000 square feet finally sold. And if you guys saw pictures of the inside of this thing, it is a train wreck. Like HVAC is gone. There are walls missing. There's plumbing missing. But this is actually a really cool house over in Palmer Woods. It's actually really interesting. Let me see if I get there's the photo. Okay, so this thing is 35,000 square feet. If I remember right, it's like 15 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms. The thing's a monster. A monster. Can't imagine what the taxes are going to be on this one. Actually, I'm going to look that up and bring that back next week for you guys. But it's an out-of-town tech guy who has done 3 tech startups at this point that bought the property. He wants to renovate it because he loves the city of Detroit. He wants to showcase its beauty, and he's doing it through renovating this amazing 35,000 square foot house. It was also previously owned by the Archdiocese of Detroit. So the bishop used to live there. I don't know why the bishop would need a house like that, but I don't know. Catholic Church is a Catholic church, and I'm Catholic, so I can make those comments. If you ain't Catholic, get out of here. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Anyway, yes, I could throw rocks at my own religion. That's okay. And then number 2, John Sally owned this. So John Sally, the Pistons, former bad boy, had bought it in 1989, and he owned it for a number of years. Okay, anybody that's watching, throw me a comment if you watched either the first or the second championship game when they were the bad boys. And I'm talking back to back. If you know it, you know. Throw that in there. Thank you so much. So this is an amazing historical property. People have been thinking about knocking it down because it's been vacant for so long. Nobody knew what to do with it. But there he is. Kelvin Lee, 35, grew up in West Bloomfield, graduated from U of M, then left for Austin, Texas to do tech startups, coming back to Detroit and bringing a company with him, which is very cool because that also means jobs. I think this is so cool that people are coming back and pouring into the city. I think that's amazing. I just want to know what those taxes are going to be. That's going to be a thing. Okay, let's move on because we got a lot of ground to cover. So we're going to keep on keeping on. All right, let's stop that screen and then let's get to share screen. What do we got? Oh yeah, this is actually kind of a more of a puff piece, but I thought it was kind of interesting, so I thought I'd go with it. All things considered. There we go. All right. So home prices are increasing the fastest in these communities in Michigan last year, 2025. And number 1 on the list is probably not a shocker. Let's get to number 1. Where's my list? There we go. Mackinac Island. Literally 21% home appreciation year over year. Jesus, that's a lot. $87,000. And then you got Union Pier, Grosse Pointe, specifically the shores, over 8% appreciation year over year. Lake Angeles over in Oakland County, not too far away from where I'm sitting right now. Belmont, Dugan, Northville, Franklin. So we got some 6s and some 5s and some 4s and some 3s and some 2s. And the number goes down from there. When you look at the top 50, the number will actually move down and settle in most of the time into the 3s. So we didn't see huge appreciation in the real estate market necessarily last year because there were fewer home sales and fewer people selling, but we did see price growth. We did see appreciation. Of course, affordability is at its almost all-time low. Now that we're off that 7% interest rate down close to a 6, it's easing up a little bit, but home affordability is still a major issue and a concern, not only in Southeast Michigan, but on a national level. There are a couple of initiatives that the current president is trying to do to alleviate that. I'm going to be honest. They're all band-aids, none of which are going to work. Let's be real. Every economist in the world knows that. So actually, I'm going to run through. Anybody want me to run through the initiatives? Oh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, let's go back to that last story, by the way. That's a great comment. That would make a really cool Airbnb. It doesn't have the zoning, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. And thank you. You were around for the return of the bad boys. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what you're saying, my guy, is I'm showing my age. That's what I'm hearing. Fair, fair. Okay. I'm going to run through a couple of these Trump initiatives. I'm not saying that they're good. I'm not saying they're bad. Again, I'm not commenting politically, but I will comment on the initiatives themselves and what the actual impact will be. So initiative number one was the 50-year mortgage. Okay. It will lower a mortgage rate. It'll lower a mortgage payment roughly $70 per $100,000 of mortgage. So if you buy a $300,000 house, you're lowering your monthly payment by $210. But that's really only taking you from right now $3,500 a month to $3,300 a month. It's just not enough. It's just not enough. And then you're doubling the amount of interest that you're paying. Number two, buying 200 million, forcing the Treasury to buy $200 billion worth of loans. Okay, great. 200 billion sounds like this fantastically big number, but the reality is in the mortgage market, it is so small, it's not funny. They will reduce the interest rate a potential 0.25%. Some economists say not as much. And they're going to cycle through that money in 3 or 4 months, and then the rates go right back up again. No bueno. What was the next initiative that he was putting in there? I totally forgot. Oh, I totally forgot. It'll come back to me. I literally just did a very long YouTube video on this. So if you want to check it out, I just put it up yesterday, actually. It's on those 5, but it's also on the 2 potential solves for the housing crisis that's happening right now, which are very simply, we need to build more homes. That's it, right? We are missing 8 to 9 million homes that were just not built. Why? Because back in 2008 and 9, 60% of the builders literally went out of business, and the other 40% just closed down for a couple of years and waited it out and just like kept their money, held on to it, wait, like Pulte or Toll Brothers or Lennox or MI Homes. Like they literally just waited for the market to improve again so they could build and actually create a profit. So once that happened, we still were not building. So we were building about 1 million homes a year up to 2008. That went down to less than 200,000. And it finally got back to 900,000 in 2019. That means that we were at a deficit of what we needed each and every year from 2008 to 2019, those 11 years. That's 8 to 9 million homes. Second thing that we're missing is affordable homes. So here's the proposal that I mailed to both the current president and the previous president. Here's the idea. All right. Home builders, we're going to weaponize the tax code and we're going to use it to our advantage to get the properties that Americans actually need, especially considering we're in a K-shaped economy. If you want to know more about that, let me know. I can talk about that as well. So here's what I'm talking about. Let's say a builder builds a house right now in Royal Oak for $350,000, which is below the median price of $400,000. Right? Let's just call it that. At $350,000, a typical home builder, when you factor in the land cost, the labor cost, and the material cost, is going to go negative about $15,000. But that's why builders are building homes above $700,000, because if you build $1 million home, they're going to profit $150,000. So what if we said 1 for 1? Hey guys, builders, for every home you build at $1 million, where you're going to profit $150,000 and pay $50,000 in taxes, if you build one house below the median in these targeted cities at, let's call it 350 to keep the example, instead of going negative 15,000, which you will do, we will let you build that $1 million house and take that 150 in profit tax free, which means they're not going negative 15,000. They're actually going positive 35,000. That's my idea, because we need to figure a way to get affordable housing. And the only real way to do it is to monetarily incentivize the builders to do it in such a fashion that they're not losing tens of thousands of dollars in building these homes. Simply put, that's it. That's the idea. The second thing that will help out with affordability, of course, is Bill Pulte had this idea. And again, I don't care what side of the aisle anybody is on. A good idea is a good idea. And the good idea was the movable mortgage. So right now I have a 2.75 interest rate. So let's call it 3, right? And let's say I owe $300,000. Let's say the next house that I buy, I would have to get a loan of $600,000 total. So if I have a movable mortgage, I would be moving my $300,000 2.75 interest rate loan. Let's call it 3% for round numbers. 3% loan to that house. I would get a second mortgage for 6%, and for 300,000, which means my average mortgage would be 4.5%. I'm not going to lie, guys. I've been looking for homes for a while, and I keep looking at a house I like. I look at the interest rate and I say, no, I don't want to pay that monthly payment. I don't. Honestly, I don't. And you guys are probably seeing the same thing out there. But if I was at 4.5%, I would actually probably make the move, because going from 300,000 at 3% to 600,000 at 6%, that is 2.5 times or more the monthly payment. But if I can do a blended rate of 4.5%, I know a whole slew of people that would move. So that would help unlock some inventory. If we can unlock some more homes on the market, then home values would actually stagnate, which is good for the American public. Home values went up already way too much, way too fast, right? We don't need home values to rise for the next 3 years. We need them to just not go down, stay stagnant, and wait for interest rates to go down. And then we could see home appreciation really blossom and bloom again. And again, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Tell me if these are crackpot ideas. I'm open to any and all feedback. I got a thick skin. All right. Moving on to the next thing. Okay. This one was another just fun article that I kind of liked, that we're going to go ahead and bring up. So this is Awesome Mitten, which is a blog and a writer that I actually really like. And if you don't follow him, he's got a nice daily or every other day or every third day email that goes out. He does a great job. So he put out this blog post. Oh, come on. There we go. Who serves the best burger in all of Michigan? So one thing I like about Awesome Michigan, one thing I like about Awesome Michigan is that this guy, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, actually. Yep, it's a guy, James. Good job, James. He goes all over Michigan. The downside is he skips a lot of Metro Detroit. So where do you guys think? Throw it in the comments. Where do you guys think, who has the best burger in Southeast Michigan? I want to know that, because I'm always looking for a good new place. Okay, this one's over. His number one is Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not driving there. Halo Burger, which actually was originated in Flint, I believe. Yes, in 1923, from a boxcar. That's right. I nailed it. Halo Burger's pretty good. I'll give it that. If you had Halo Burger, let me know. Brown Bear in Shelby and Pentwater. Nope, not driving there. Casey's Tavern in Ann Arbor. Okay, guys, if you have not been to Casey's Tavern in Ann Arbor, I'm telling you right now, it's worth the drive. Wherever in Metro Detroit you are, it is worth the drive, 100%. Let's see. Bergstrom Burgers, I'm not driving 4 hours for a burger. Okay. I got issues. Redcoat Tavern. Okay. So I currently live in Royal Oak, Michigan, right? Which means I've got the original Redcoat right there on Woodward, right by my house. It's a 6-minute drive. And I know because I've made that drive a zillion times. I will say this. Redcoat Tavern in Royal Oak is definitely top tier. One of the top 5 burgers in all of Metro Detroit. There's no doubt about that. That's indisputable. Redcoat Tavern in West Bloomfield is not Redcoat Tavern in Royal Oak. That's my hot take. Tell me I'm wrong, Metro Detroit. Tell me I am completely wrong. I've been to Redcoat Tavern in West Bloomfield 3 times. I've tried the burger 3 times. It is just not the same. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a different grill. I don't know if it's different stovetop. But there is just something about the Redcoat Tavern burger in Royal Oak that just holds a near and dear place to my heart. It's just when I'm looking for a great, substantial burger, Redcoat is on that very short list, but not West Bloomfield. What else we got? Another Sault Ste. Marie. I'm not driving there. Shamrock Pub in Utica. Okay, guys, you got to check this thing out. Look at these 2 burgers. These are delightful. I am driving to Utica for this. Also, the fries are very good. Don't sleep on the fries. Hopcat. Okay. All right. Who thinks Hopcat is overrated? Oh, geez. Oop. Yeah. That is a good point. It is not small. Let me put it that way. Good comment. Yeah, okay. If I'm going to Hopcat, I'm going for the fries, frankly. I'm not going for the burger. That's not to be rude or anything. I'm just not, I don't know. Crunchies East Lansing. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I've been there. Dagwoods, I've not. It looks great, though. Charlevoix. That's about it for Southeast Michigan. Oh, yeah, Big Dip Burgers in Walled Lake. All right, so Big Dip Burger in Walled Lake, it's a good one to be on the list. They're a newer restaurant. They opened actually during the pandemic. I think it's definitely worth trying, but I don't know that I would go out of my way for it. Like it's good, right? They do the pretzel bun. It's good. Big Rabbit's not driving there. And then we got some honorable mentions. We got, Mott's is in Redford. I really like that place. Yep, Burger Fries and Shakes and Chesterfield. I like that place. There was a time, guys, in my life where I literally made the decision to go and try to find the best burger in Metro Detroit. And I tried a burger every single day for 60 days. And Chesterfield Township, it was worth the drive to that place. That was on my list. And of course, we got the Daily Drive-In in Livonia. That makes it. But I got to say, guys, there's a newer player on the scene that I believe makes an amazing burger that is not on here. And that is Bell Bistro in Birmingham. So Bell Bistro's owners, the original owners were, well, their original restaurant is Adelina in Detroit, which made Italian Restaurant of the Year 2 years ago. And frankly, they did a great job with the Italian. It's great Italian. It's not overpriced. It's not like super luxe pricey like Aurora Italiana over in West Bloomfield or anything like that. I think it's a fair price for very good food. Then they opened their second concept, which was Bell Bistro. I'm actually moving this onto the screen as we go. There we go. Because I got another story to get to. Because I'm moving slow tonight. There we go. Let's get that up there. Come on, share. There we go. So Bell Bistro put out this smash burger that is, I don't know why, but it is just absolutely delightful. It is, in my opinion, the best smash burger going right now on the Woodward corridor. And that's saying something because there are a ton of smash burgers out there. I mean, like, okay, there's some great new establishments that have come up, like Red and the Wolf and Clausen. Their food is amazing. They've got this short rib on the menu that is great. They do have a smash burger. It's very good. I will still go to Bell Bistro over it. Same thing with the Great Dane in Royal Oak. The Great Dane in Royal Oak, by the way, is a fantastic restaurant. I did a reel on it. They do a great job, but I'm still driving to Bell Bistro just for the smash burger, 100%. That's all I'm saying. Yep. Okay. Well, let's bring up our next headline here. So the James Beard semifinalists have finally been announced. And there are 6 of them here in Michigan, 1 in Traverse City, but the other 5 are here, which is very cool. And I love this so much. I love that we're growing our restaurant scene because part of bringing back a city is bringing back its food. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. So we've got 6 of them. We've got the one in the Siren Hotel, which I can never pronounce the name of, Barshinen. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm doing my best. We've got Echelon Kitchen in Ann Arbor, which did a great job. Actually, they took a photo of it, put it in this article. Look at that. I love the clean, sleek, almost modern Italian-y look. It's a great design, great aesthetic, but even more important, the food and the chef is fantastic. It's worth the drive for that. Even if you do carry out, it's worth the drive for that. And we got some other ones, including Ladder 4 Wine Bar, which is very good. Barda in Detroit, which is very good. And again, Modern Bird in Traverse City, which again is very good. I did eat there when I was visiting last year, but again, I just don't want to drive 4 hours for food. And there we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Post Boy in New Buffalo, which is on the other side of the state. Yeah, that's another one that I have not been to, but I would love to get to. I probably should get to at some point in time, but have not yet. But yeah, let me know if you guys have tried any of these or any of the former James Beard finalists or semifinalists or winners. My favorite semifinalist was and is Mike Ransom's EMA, right? And there's 4 locations. Well, technically 3, but we'll get to it. So you've got EMA in Corktown, which took over Gold Cash Gold across from Michigan Central, which I love, and I love the aesthetic of that place. You've got the one in Midtown, which is another sit-down EMA. Next door to that EMA in Midtown, you've got Super Crisp. So he took his spices and made kind of like a fried chicken place and a burger place, and it is delightful. There aren't very many tables. It does get busy. A lot of times you got to do a carry out, but it's worth it. And then of course you've got EMA up in Madison Heights, which by the way, if you want a fried chicken sandwich and you want a real sit down, that's the one you go to because they have a chicken sandwich on that menu that's not in Midtown and not in Corktown. Can you tell I'm a foodie? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. Continuing on because we got more restaurant news coming up. All right. So we're going to stop that share. Why? Because everybody loves to eat. And you got to eat somewhere. Okay. This one's going to be really cool. Actually, there's finally like this has been anticipated for a while. There we go. All right. Pine Hall Bar is set to open in the Hudson building. We finally, okay, so we knew that there was going to be a restaurant going in, and there are a couple other things going on. I'm going to talk about that too. We knew a restaurant was going to be going in and a bar. We didn't know what it was or who it was or any of that. So Union Restaurant Group, which is based out of New York, they've got 14 restaurants in a couple of different states. They have one in, they've got restaurants in like DC, but they also have restaurants in Tokyo. Several of them have earned and lost a Michelin star. This is a multiple James Beard award-winning restaurant group, which is great. Have been brought into Detroit or coming into Detroit to open up the restaurant and the rooftop bar at the Hudson building. This thing's going to be fire, and that's going to be open by fall. In addition to that, we've got two other things happening in 2027. You've got the hotel that's finally going to be opening in, I don't remember the name of it, but in the Hudson building, which is cool, 200 some odd rooms. But then you've got 97 condos that are going to go up for sale. Now, what's interesting about those condos is these guys are really trying to push the envelope. So those condos in the Hudson building, their pricing starts at, drum roll please, $1,000 per square foot. I mean, that's beyond Birmingham prices. Like what is happening here? Oh, to live in a condo without a yard. I don't know. Call me crazy. I know I'm a real estate agent. Call me crazy. And as a real estate agent, I just think that's a lot. But tell me I'm wrong. If you think 1,000 square feet is that's $1 million for 1,000 square foot condo. Mind is blown. But they're going to try it and they're going to work on it. But most importantly, this bar, which is going to be called Pine Hall, which is a nod to Hudson's, is going to be opening. Oh, there's the rooftop right there. It's going to be opening this year, and I think it's going to be very cool. It is definitely a place I want to try out. Definitely a place I'm going to want to try to get in the grand opening of. Yep, there we go. New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C., Tokyo. So he's opened. So this company has opened, and this guy has opened multiple award-winning establishments, and he's coming into Detroit to do yet another, what he hopes is going to be an award-winning establishment. And my guy, full faith in you that you're going to make it happen. Truly. Okay, let's move on, because we got stuff to do. I don't even know what time it is. Oh, we are moving slow. Okay, this is pretty cool. All right, I want that one. There it is. Michigan's first true crime restaurant is opening in Monroe, Michigan, and it'll be open in just a couple of months. So this guy also owns the Museum of Horrors, which is right down the road, but he's opening in the Mall of Monroe, and the menu is a take off of what serial killers' last meals ordered were, which include things like John Wayne Gacy. Did I say that right? Actually, there's a list. I should probably just go to the list. There we go. John Wayne Gacy, which had chicken wings. Chicken wings, strawberries, fried shrimp, and fries. Ted Bundy, Parmesan steak loaded with steak fries. I'm not kidding. So this guy has had a passion for the arcane or the morbid or whatever you want to call it, hence the Museum of Horrors. And now he's actually opening up a restaurant based on the last meals of inmates before they either hit the electric chair or were euthanized or whatever method that they went out, firing squad, whatever. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I agree with you. The HOA there has got to be crazy. Thank you, Madman. Stay mad. I love that name so much. Thank you so much. And yeah, the HOA. So they don't have an exact. That's great. I'm going to go backwards just a little bit because I missed that comment. I'm so sorry about that. The HOA is proposed to be between $900 and $1,500 per month. That is $10,000 to $18,000 per year. I think that's nuts. But that, again, that's just me. I don't think so. A state senator hopeful who will be running for his dad's seat, which actually covers the Hudson building, had called me, and we had this conversation last week. And he said, "Hey, what are some of the issues going on with the city that you're seeing that I should be helping because you were doing so much reporting on it?" And I said, "Hey, man, are you aware that the 313 Park apartment building is under Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection right now?" And he said, "No, I didn't." And that's within his district. And it's just not a commonly known thing. It's just something that I happen to know because I watch all these things. So the 313 Park building, which is different than the city apartments, which is right down the, like 2 blocks over on Washington. The 303 Park building, to get in there is $1,800 a month, and the rents go upwards of $4,000, $4,500. So here's the issue. So Detroit's comeback is the downside is, I don't know, I don't want to say downside, but the economy and the jobs have not quite followed suit. And there was an article about that not too long ago, that even though Detroit's comeback is very strong, a lot of it is driven from the suburbs coming in, but then leaving, because Detroit downtown, the jobs are just not strong enough yet. So my fear with the Hudson building is it will still not be a strong enough, high-paying job growth market that is going to be able to create the people, that create the incomes that will be able to afford the condos in the Hudson building. That's my fear. And that's why I told him, I said, look, we don't need 1,000-square-foot condos. We don't need $3,500 a month apartments. We need $1,500 a month apartments, and we need $300,000 houses. So if you're going to do anything, running for state senator, do that. Do that. That's what Detroiters need right now. Second thing they need are good paying jobs inside the city, or just in Metro Detroit in general, really. Anywhere in Metro Detroit. I don't care where. Okay. Bring me a high paying job anywhere in the 5-county area. I don't care where it is. One man's opinion. And again, I'm not politically on one side or another. I just look at each issue individually and try to use common sense. Again, that's try, because common sense, as we know, is not common. And I personally have a lack of common sense, as we all know, as you could probably tell by this Instagram, or I'm sorry, YouTube Live. Okay. Oh, this is a good one. All right. Continuing down the food path, because that's where we're going to go right now. There we go. So, and comment if you've been here. So Sylvan Table is expanding. Oh, let me move that again. So Sylvan Table is expanding into a European-style cafe and market, which I think is very cool. So they've got a bunch of land out there. I don't know if you guys have been to Sylvan Table. It's definitely worth getting out to. I took my mom there for Mom's Day a couple years ago. She loved it. They've got this little like enclosed thing on the outside, but then they got the restaurant thing on the inside. It's actually really good. It's also farm to table. It's also highly organic. I can't say it's all organic, but farm to table usually is. Not always, but usually. But these guys run a very good restaurant and a very tight ship. There's no other renderings or anything. But what they're looking to do is expand upon their original concept of just the restaurant and go with a market and a cafe, which I think is very nifty. And a lot of places have done things like this, right? Like in recent years, some of the cider mills have done this. So Franklin Cider Mill, when you go there, when I went there as a kid, you just walked up to the mill. But now there's this whole like outside market. Blake's has its own market in addition to having the restaurant over in Armada. And then the Blake's that they bought, when they bought Irwin's in South Lyon, they expanded that market, right? So this is kind of the next evolution of more things in one location to do, not just a restaurant, but a restaurant and a cafe and a market and, you know, things like that, right? Maybe a beer hall or whatever that looks like. I'm not sure where they're going to go next, but I got to say this. I love that Sylvan Table is thriving because they've got some great food, and I keep forgetting about this place, and I keep forgetting I got to go back there sooner rather than later. And if you've been, then you know what I'm talking about. It's just good food. Okay, moving on. So this is pretty cool. Let's share screen. I keep forgetting to make the screen bigger again. I apologize, my guys. All right, so there's a restaurant here. I'm going to say it's different. There's a $17 million proposed venue in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan that could happen. And it's going in front of city council right now. So this gentleman right here, a very well-known restaurateur here in Metro Detroit, he owns, it's really cool rendering, by the way. Check that out. He owns, come on, there we go. Mex over on Telegraph Road in Bloomfield. He was the savior of Como's in Ferndale. When everybody wanted Como's to come back, he was the guy that bought it and brought it back. And it's actually excellent now. Good pizza, solid outdoors in the summer. If you've been, you've been. He owns Social in Birmingham, which kind of flagged for a while, but is now making a comeback. It's under new management, which is great. I actually went there the other day and did a reel on it with Donnie LB. Much love, Donnie. You are a great reviewer of restaurants. Loved working with you. And then he also owns Bose over on, is that on Telegraph? Is Bose on Telegraph? My guys, tell me. I believe it's on Telegraph. So Bose, my friends, has the hands down best French dip I have ever experienced in my life. And that I'm no, I'm not, that's saying something. So when prices of meat rose, like meat prices almost doubled over the last couple of years, right? Over the last 10 years, they actually took it off the menu and they lost almost 50% of their customers. And they came back and said, look, for the quality meat that we were using to bring this back and to bring it back the right way, we would literally have to charge $25 for the sandwich. And people said, great, I will pay $25 for that sandwich, which I believe is 29 now, but I will pay $29 for that sandwich. It's also big, so it's really 2 meals. You can take half home. So, it's really $15 each sandwich. And then he owns a place called the Common Grill over in Chelsea, which is the only one on this list that I haven't been to. But he owns and successfully runs those 5 restaurants, and now he wants to create this bigger venue, which will seat 350 people, 3,000 square feet, or no, 30,000 square feet, 30,000 square feet, on 30 acres of undeveloped land over in Bloomfield / kind of on the border of Franklin. So he's looking to make almost like an amphitheater style design. So you could bring in things like bands to the venue or live entertainment or things like that. And the area is really missing something like this that could be rented out or could be done. That's not like Meadowbrook Hall, which is just way too big for a lot of events and way too big for a lot of acts that come into town, right? There's just not a great small size venue spot in Metro Detroit right now. And he's looking to fix that. I just thought this was really cool. Plus, I really like the rendering, and I like that they kind of went into the ground amphitheater style, so that up above, there will be like a stage, basically, is what he's making it. I thought that was pretty cool, guys. I hope you did too. And then we've got another grand opening happening. Let's get that on the screen. I keep forgetting to go back. There you go. Yep. There's me all over the screen, not just part of the screen. And on Sunday, there we go. There we go. And on Sunday, January 25th, we've got Back Nine Golf opening, and it should be a little warmer. So definitely get out to the grand opening. They're going to have a professional golf pro there giving away some free lessons, which is cool. They're going to do some raffles and some giveaways of like golf bags and shirts and swag and golf clubs and passes to golf courses, and I don't even know, all kinds of stuff they're giving away. There's actually a list here. Let's take a look. So these indoor kind of golf simulators are all the rage right now, right? I mean, there was one in Shelby that opened up, one in the Cambria downtown that opened up. You got this guy that opened up. There's another one I'm going to mention in a moment because it's near and dear to my heart. Yeah, there we go. Free swing analysis with an instructor. Drive January promotion, whatever that means. Okay. Get a raffle for a golf bag, $400. Raffle for a gift basket for the Red Wagon shop in Troy, which is a liquor store. It's very large. Complimentary food by Detroit Wing Company. That's cool. Chris Bellies and Pete Away. Oh, I like Chris Bellies. Yeah. So there's all kinds of stuff that's going to be happening there, right? You can get a personalized locker. Now, that said, let's not overshadow that, in my opinion, one of the best simulators in Metro Detroit is also Paddle and Par, which is a newer establishment over in Franklin. Beverly Hills. I'm sorry, Beverly Hills. So Paddle and Par, the original concept, and it's a great concept, is they wanted to do a pickleball court. It's a very nice pickleball court. But what they also did was they put in some of the best food in Metro Detroit. Like, this place inadvertently created the voted #1 pizza in 2025 on Yelp in Metro Detroit. If you don't play pickleball, I do not play pickleball. I would go there for the golf simulator. I would go there for the pizza. Absolutely. Hands down. Hands up. Take my word for it. Beverly Hills, Paddle and Par. Paddle and Par. Okay, let's move on, because we got a lot to do. Oh, this is out of order, but it doesn't matter. It's cool. I'm totally cool with going a little bit out of order. So I'm going to step off restaurant news for just a moment, but then we're going to go right back to restaurant news. Okay. I thought this was really cool, guys, and you tell me what you think. There we go. So the Henry Ford is adding its first building in over 40 years, and it's the Jackson House. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Jackson House, and this is actually the right week for this announcement, it is the house that Martin Luther King Jr. planned a lot of his protests in. So they're actually moving the house to Henry Ford. So they moved a ton of property in, right? They moved a ton of houses and schoolhouses and just pieces of history. Like they've got the Rosa Parks bus, for example. So they're trying. Henry Ford does a great job in trying to preserve history, and I think they do it the right way, and I really respect that about them. So they're moving this house, which again is going to be the first thing moved into Henry Ford in 40 years, out of respect, as opposed to it being demolished, trying to save a piece of history. So I got to say, good on you, Henry Ford. Good on you, and keep on keeping on. I love this so much, and I will definitely be there to see it once it's moved in. Again, first thing moved in 40 years. That's a long time. They haven't added a piece in that long. Well, they added stuff, but not a house. Okay, we got more restaurant news too, by the way, guys. So we're going to get to that right now. Yeah, there's a lot happening in restaurants in Metro Detroit lately, by the way, as you could probably tell. And I love that so much because that's the precursor for everything else. Good food first, then everything else comes behind it. It's just how the economy works. There we go. We got a bunch of new restaurants hitting in 2026 here in Metro Detroit, and I am here for it. Okay, what do we got? We got Rock and Brews. So Rock and Brews is that Gene Simmons Kiss concept that is right now in Florida, and I believe there's a location in California. They're taking over the old Hopcat three-story space in downtown Royal Oak. Used to be like the Jamaica Joe Bar or something like that before that, but God, I remember going there as a young man, like in my early 20s, and being like, this place is madness. Then Hopcat took over, filled all three, then closed, then reopened on Main Street in a smaller location. But these guys are taking over all three floors. So at the top in the summer, of course, you're going to have live music. You're going to have like a cantina feel almost. And this is not like a Hard Rock hotel, which obviously that concept didn't work out as well as it could. This is more nodding to, frankly, Kiss more than anybody else. But it's a cool concept. I've heard good things from people that have been to the one out of state. Actually, the people that are bringing it to Michigan are Michiganders. Tony Yesbeck among them, that are bringing it in from out of state because they actually went to the one in Florida and they were so impressed with it. Remains to be seen whether or not this is going to be fun or not. Cardone, which is in Sylvan Lake, which is going to be opening this spring, which is that European style bakery that Sylvan Table is adding on. I forgot to mention that. They're adding on a bakery as well as a European market and cafe. This is cool. Hunabar over in Ann Arbor. Not familiar with this one at all. No idea what the concept even is. Lola's Taco Bar. Okay, guys, this place is good. I went the day after it opened. So Lola's, which is new to Metro Detroit, this is a Michelin award-winning chef that decided to go to Grosse Pointe to open a taco bar. Literally, a Michelin award-winning chef opening a taco bar here in Metro Detroit. And again, guys, we got good food finally coming back into Metro Detroit. Definitely get to this place if you have the opportunity to. It is worth it. If you have to drive. If you have to take an Uber, take an Uber. If you have to take, well, I was going to say city bus, but I would not necessarily take a city bus. Medusa over in Midtown is finally going to open, which I'm really excited about. It's kind of gotten an Italian flair to it. Slow's Barbecue in Berkeley finally opened. I have been. It was good. And tell me, guys, in the comments, what is your favorite barbecue in Metro Detroit? I'm going to tell you mine at the end of this section. I want to know where good barbecue is, because I've got 2 barbecue spots in Michigan that I will 100% drive to any day of the week. Because I do love good barbecue. And then as well, we've got Motor City Brewing Works, which is pausing operation on February 8th. They've got some renovating and some updating they want to be doing. And then as well, they're experiencing a little bit of a slow period. So that's it there. So there's our restaurant roundup. Do I have more restaurant roundups? No, we're moving on to the next thing. Cool. Okay. Before we move on to the next thing, I will say this. My 2 favorite barbecue places. It's not Bad Brad's. I like Bad Brad's. I respect Bad Brad's. It's a great brand. They're doing a great job. I go to Livonia location. I take my parents. They live in Farmington Hills. The Woodpile in Clawson. I believe they opened a spot in Madison Heights. I don't remember. Haven't been there. Woodpile in Clawson. Worth the drive. And Sparks Barbecue in Traverse City. And he started out as a food truck, then opened up a permanent stand. And then he actually moved to a bank that wasn't there anymore. There's a vault and everything in downtown Traverse City. That place is legit. It is literally the best barbecue I've had in Michigan ever. And I say Michigan because I had barbecue in other states. And there is barbecue in other states that's better than barbecue in Michigan, obviously. Okay, we got to bring up this next one. So what is going to be next? Ooh, you are next. Share screen. And continuing the wins for Metro Detroit, especially as far as shopping goes. I got a couple of those. There we go. So Metro Detroit is now the proud owner of one Cartier. Now, I'm actually shocked they didn't open in downtown Detroit because Gucci did and several other brands did. And that seems to be the fashionable thing. Apple moved to downtown Detroit. Tim Cook was there at the grand opening. But Cartier did move a boutique into Somerset, which when you see things like this happen, it means that they believe in the economy of the area and that there's money here to be spent, which is good. Because if people have disposable income, that means they are spending money, which means the economy is growing. So when you see Cartier's open, actually, it's Cartier's and Gucci's specifically. If you see Cartier's, Gucci's, and Apple stores, when you see those things open, it means that there is a lot of money in the economy, or at least that's what these brands economists believe. So when I see a Cartier, like when I see somebody like this open up, I see a positive future outlook for the economy. That's what I see, because they're not putting this thing in and thinking that the economy is going to tank. Right. So I kind of take that as a positive. I mean, let me know how you guys take it. Personally, I am not a Cartier person. I mean, it seems like a nice brand. Tell me if you wear Cartier, or tell me what I should be wearing if I should be wearing Cartier. I don't even know. Like, guys, I'm sitting here in a Pernateam real estate t-shirt. Like I've got Nike. Let me see if I can get this, get my foot high enough. Yep. Those are Nike Lion shoes, which are my daily driver shoes. So yes, I am not that fancy person. And I cannot believe I just showed you my shoes on screen. That was not my most well thought out thing I've ever done. So moving on to the next thing. Oh yeah. Okay. This talk about a feel good story. Well, not a feel good story, but you know. Okay. So one of my favorite brands, and of course, I'm in for all things local. You know this. Born in Detroit is moved to a larger space. They are actually doing so well, which I love that so much because this is a locally owned, it's two dudes that own it, locally owned brand. And I love that so much. I try to support local as much as I can. So I support like Colin Detroit's clothing brand. I support, any of the local that I can. But Born in Detroit is now moved into a larger space, just a little bit down Woodward from its original space. They originally had around 1,500 square feet. It was not very big, and now they're in a triple the size space that they also partnered with Gardner White on, which is very cool. I like the Born in Detroit brand. I have several of their clothing pieces. Also, just as a random side note, one of the owners went to Brother Rice High School. He played baseball one season for the Tigers and is just a generally good dude. He also owns a couple of Jimmy Johns, which is cool. Yeah. So anyway, they're now directly across the street from Hudson's Detroit instead of being adjacent to it. So it's a great location. Anthony Tomey was born and raised in, I don't know if he was born in Farmington Hills, but he was raised in Farmington Hills. And he's been a fast friend for a very long time. And I really like supporting him because I feel like he supports the local economy and he supports a lot of local charities as well. And I respect that so much. So thank you, Anthony, and cheers to all your success. And I will be back in your store. And I hope that your family is still there working at the store because I really enjoyed so much meeting them and actually having them help me pick out the clothes that I wear on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, what's next? Oh, this is cool. So a lot of people feel like Detroit's not coming back. And there are a ton of projects that are either going to be completed or opening in Detroit and Metro Detroit in 2026 and 2027. And I think it's important to do just a quick rundown of a couple of those. And we won't have to spend a long time on this. But there are some downtown Detroit projects happening and opening in 2026 that I think are really cool to keep an eye on. And here they are. So we got some parks and some public spaces. Okay, Monroe Streetscape Project 2026. Honestly, I'm not as excited about that one. The Second Avenue extension, I think, will be really nice. I think it's a pretty major addition, and it is. It's a $103 million project funded by Detroit's Regional Convention Facility Authority. That was a lot of words for whatever. The development of Cadillac Square, which is really COSM, which is going to open in 2027. This I'm really excited about. So if you don't know, there's a COSM that's going to be coming into Detroit. We are their next location, which is cool. I believe we're their 6th location. We actually beat out Atlanta for the next location. And it's not a theater. It's like a stadium. right? But it's all enclosed. And it's all LEDs and it's all TVs and it's like being on the field during a Lions game, basically. Let me put it that way. So you can go and watch some of your favorite sports and feel like you're actually there. It's going to hold around 1,500 people. There's going to be 3 spaces inside of it: the main space, a side bar space, and then an outside upper patio. This thing is actually really cool, and they have actually started to break ground. We've got the Detroit City Football Club field is also approved and it's coming in 2027. So they spent a couple of years buying this land and buying different plots to be able to get the parking right and the stadium right and all of those things. So we're actually going to have the Detroit City Football Club have a real world-class field, which they do not have right now. That's pretty cool. And yes, wait, what is this one? Okay, that's a fair point. All right, so Lola's is a little bit different than Mexican Town. I will put it that way. Okay, we're regressing because I missed some stuff. So Mexican Town, like if we're gonna go to Social Micos, 100%. I might even throw in whatever the one is that I cannot remember the name of, where it's this couple and one's Italian and one's Mexican, and so they kind of fuse the menu together. They're both chefs. That place is really good. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's in Southwest. Worth going to. Yeah, no, he's got his competition out for him in Mexican Town. Oh, and Taco Way, which opened up over there as well, is very good. I did a review on that. I was actually pleasantly surprised. The owner's great, by the way. But I think he's going more for like a Vecino style, where it's like an elevated Mexican. So not really a Mexican Town type thing, which if you haven't been, I think I do like Vecino. And yes, Texas is definitely where the good barbecue is. And if you haven't been, go to the Salt Lick. And I'm not talking about the Salt Lick that they sell in the airport, because they do. Like when you're in the Austin airport, there is a Salt Lick there. That is not the one. The actual Salt Lick is like 40 minutes outside of Austin. You're actually going into a dry county to go to the original Salt Lick. So going up to the county line, there's like 8 liquor stores, so you can buy whatever you want to buy. Now they can serve you your own drinks. So whatever you bring with you at the Salt Lick, the original one, they can serve it back to you. But they cannot sell it to you because it's a dry county. So if you want a beer or something, pick up a 6-pack or whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to do, whatever that looks like at the county line, and then drive it in, and then you give it to them and they'll serve it back to you cold or whatever. Right? Good call on Texas barbecue. I love that. I love that so much. Okay, Detroit City football field. We've got the Gordie Howe International Bridge opening anywhere between, let's call it January and December, because this thing's been pushed back a couple of times. But what's interesting about this also is that they are now eclipsed 29 million man hours building this thing. It is a monster. This thing was also like 40 years in the making, by the way, because of course, Maddie Maroon, who owns and revenues from the Ambassador Bridge, kept on trying to shut this thing down and kept politicking and kept trying to donate to various senators and Congress people's campaigns. Why? Because he wanted the bottleneck on his bridge so he can get all those revenues. Now, what's interesting also about this bridge is people don't know this, but Canada actually footed the entire bill for the bridge. They did. So what is going to end up happening is Canada footed the bill and took the loans out for the bridge. So they're going to be revenuing. They're going to be taking in all of the tolls until they're paid back, right? Which will probably take 8 or 10 years estimated. And then once that happens, then they're going to split the profit between the Canada side and the US side. So I thought that was actually really interesting when I found out. Michigan Central multimodal facility. So that's happening. The Bell, there's some other stuff happening. Yep. The Detroit Edition Hotel. That's what it is. And the residences. That's right. JW Marriott. Yep. The Nomad Hotel will be opening in 2027 finally, which is a Hilton brand, by the way, in Michigan Central Station, which is really cool. The Detroit District in 2028, which is going to be very cool, which includes a Little Caesars Arena Hotel and a Fox Theater Hotel, apparently. And now we're going into 2029. That's too far away. I can't think that far. That's egregious. Okay. Moving on. How are we doing? Oh my gosh, we are over an hour. I cannot believe it. And we're still not done. There's, again, guys, so much happening in Metro Detroit right now. I love it so much. Okay, let's get this on the screen. So if you've been following along and following my journey these past couple of weeks, then you know that I got press passes for, there it is, the auto show, which was great, by the way, because I wanted to cover it. I wanted to cover all the new things. But the thing that really got me, which I thought was amazing. Okay, there it is. So Cadillac, for the first time ever, is going to enter a car into F1 racing this year. And they had that car at the auto show. They still have it at the auto show. If you want to go see it, go see it. So now they are yet again pitting themselves right up against Ford. Because it's been Ford versus Cadillac. Like, yes, I know Ford versus Ferrari is a thing. We all saw the movie, right? What was it, Matt Damon? We all saw the movie. But Ford versus Cadillac is now a thing. Ford versus GM has been a thing for a long time. And I'm talking like NASCAR, right? Which is, I believe, the Mustang versus the Camaro. And then you've got the Indy races, which I believe is Mustang versus Corvette. Now they're going back into Le Mans. So Ford is going back into Le Mans, which is Mustang versus, I believe, Corvette again. And now Cadillac is going into F1 racing, which is, again, I think it's Mustang versus Cadillac. Well, actually, no, it's not a Mustang because an F1 racing car is just an F1 racing car. So this is really interesting to me that these guys have been really pitted against each other for so many years, not just as competitors as far as selling cars go, but now as competitors on every single major international race, which is crazy to me. I think it's so cool. And so cool that for the first time ever, Cadillac is entering a car into F1. So we're not just talking about seeing like Ferraris or Lamborghinis or those types of exotic cars. We're seeing some real American products in these premier races, which is very cool. Oh my gosh. Yes. Talk about Josh and Jace for a minute, right? Okay, guys, this is interesting. Yes, they crossed the Mackinac Bridge yesterday. I saw that. So Josh and Jace. Okay, everybody who wants to go ahead and tag Josh and Jace anywhere on my Instagram. It's the Perna Team, or anywhere on my Facebook page, which is again the Perna Team or Michael Perna. I've got two of those. Literally, the accent guy and Josh and Jace have been tagged over 400 times so far on my post. I actually did a post. Like, I took one of their posts and I sequenced it into another post because I think they should come to Detroit. I think it would be great press for Detroit, for people of that scale and that level and that eyeball and that reach to come and see just how great our city really is. The food, the people, everything, the music. I'd love to get them. Okay, now I'm showing my true colors here. I would love to get them to go to Spotlight. Like personal opinion. We go to Lafayette or Nationals, right? Maybe we go to Grandma Bob's after that, or maybe Buddy's, because that's a real Detroit thing. And then we go see some EDM at Spotlight, or, well, the other one, Motor City Wine's not good right now because of the outside, and TV Lounge isn't good right now because of the outside. But I don't know. You tell me, guys, if Josh and Jace do come, or if they do actually reach out and contact me, because crazier things have happened, let me know where you think we should take them, frankly, or they should go while they're here in Detroit or Metro Detroit, either one. But yes, I've been tagged so many times, or those guys have been tagged so many times on my posts on Instagram, which is awesome. Oh, this is good. Come to Michigan in the summer, it would put a huge spotlight on Michigan's natural beauty, especially. Yes, I agree. Okay, so this is something a lot of people greatly underestimate. Is something like Dominican Falls and those places are painted rocks. Like, Michigan has so much natural beauty. It's crazy, and it is often overlooked. One of the other things that we have, which is often overlooked, is we have the largest vertical drop on a ski slope in the Midwest at Mount Bohemia, which of course is in the UP and really hard to get to. Like, we've got some really cool stuff in Michigan that people just don't even know about. It's not even on their radar. So actually, follow me on Instagram. Go open up Instagram. Follow me when you can. It's the Perna Team. I showcase Michigan and all of its beauty as much as humanly possible. Actually, I do it here on YouTube as well. So go ahead and hit the follow button on that. That's a great point. That's such a great point. And yes, I always forget about that. Okay, so we are going to go on to the next story. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Okay. There we go. All right. So Lincoln headquarters is moving into Michigan Central Station. Now, the story tomorrow, of course, is going to be Lincoln headquarters is moving out of Michigan Central Station, because let's be real, in the last 25 years, they've moved 4 times. They moved to Irvine, California, then back to Dearborn, then to the Glass House, then out of the Glass House. Actually, this is move number 5, and then number 5 into Michigan Central Station. There's going to be 55 upper tier Lincoln people working in Michigan Central, which is cool. I guess they figured they had to do something with the space, because Ford originally had acquired that property and a couple of the properties for their EV campus, right? They wanted to really do their engineering and their testing of their electric vehicles here. But now that they've stepped away from their EV platform and they're concentrating more on either hybrid or gas powered vehicles, which is a very big thing at the auto show this year, by the way. They have all this empty space. So now the glass house is gone. They're consolidating some of Lincoln and some of the other executives into Michigan Central, which I think is actually pretty cool. It's probably the right move. They got the real estate. They might as well do it. They don't need to go rent from somebody else, right? Yeah, it was a quick hit story. There's a lot of Ford going on this week, guys. Ford is in the news. So let's keep on keeping on. I might have another Ford story. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. There we go. 3 cheers for Ford Motor. There we go. Okay. So, it went down the screen. There we go. There we go. So Ford Motor is in, there we go. So Ford Motor is in Saudi Arabia right now, testing its skills against international brands for off-roading. These guys want to dominate, and you can tell at the auto show by the Bronco. These guys, there are more Broncos than any other kind of Ford at the auto show right now, and they even have its own section. So Jeep has its obligatory section where you can get in the Jeep and ride around the thing, go up the thing, go down the thing, go through the thing. Ford Bronco has an equally big section doing very similar things, which is craziness, right? No other car has its own sections that you can get in the cars and ride independently. There's a third section at the auto show where there's half a dozen brands that have their cars, like Cadillac with the Escalade. That's really the one you want to ride in, by the way. So that thing actually goes 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. Talk about that in a second. But Ford is going all in on Ford racing and all in on Ford off-roading, as you can see with the Bronco Raptor, which is really, I think it's called the Raptor, which is really cool. So they're really trying to push into this in a very, very big way, which is awesome. So right now they're in Saudi, of course, testing it with about 1 million people watching, which is cool. And that's called the Dakar Rally, by the way. Oh yeah, I've got more photos. But let's get these other photos up, which are much more exciting than this one, and where my head's covering it anyway. I'm so sorry, my people. I'm so sorry. And thank you for sticking with me. There we go. Come on. I don't know who the photographer is, by the way, but they're doing some really cool shots with this stuff. There we go. Like, that's pretty cool. That's cool. Yeah. So Ford Racing is showing up on the scene in a very big way, in multiple ways, which is really interesting to me. Yep. There's the Bronco, straight up. They're working on it, guys. I mean, Ford's really trying to push it, right? And then, of course, they're trying to push it so hard that we get this. There we go. Let's get this up on the screen. Boom. Oh, wait. Boom. Haha. So Ford Racing Days start at Michigan Central going January 18th to January 30th, which includes a really cool vehicle showcase. So, of course, Ford Motor owns Motor City, or owns the Michigan Central station. We all know that. They redid it, did a great job, spent $1 billion. And now they're using it to showcase what their evolution and what their next steps are going to be. And their next steps, of course, we talked about off-road racing, but now we're also talking about on-road racing. And their goal there is to feature their cars and their trucks that they will be racing, which you can now go see at Michigan Central. So if you go to Michigan Central's website, you can sign up for a ticket at a time, and you can actually get in there and see the actual racing automobiles that Ford is starting to field. This is something I haven't been to yet. It's been going only 4 days, but I do plan on going to it this weekend, because frankly, it's going to be really cold out, and there's nothing else I want to do except be on the inside doing things, not the outside. So I think this is really cool. If somebody also had a chance to go, let me know. Let me know how it was. Give me, if you've seen it already, give me a scale of 1 to 10. I know it's still a new attraction, but okay, let's get that one off the screen. Oh, 2 more things to go. Oh, and this one's a big one. This one is a big one, in my opinion. I reported on this last week, and now I got a follow-up report. There we go. There it is, guys. So last week, DTE Energy announced a $2.99 transaction fee for any debit or credit card payments on its system. Okay, So here's my problem. DTE has raised rates. Then they raised them again. Now they're seeking a third raise because of the data centers that nobody wants in South Lyon and Saline. And now they're adding this junk fee on top. Where does it stop, DTE? Where does it stop? When do you stop putting your executives in private planes and flying them up to Traverse City? And yes, that is a real thing that happened during an audit. How many millions of dollars are you going to squander of my money and everybody watching this live until you take some accountability? Maybe do that first and then tack on some credit card fees if you're really that broke. And yes, I'm opinionated on this. And yes, there is a petition to try to stop this. I have signed it online. I encourage everyone to Google DTE petition and sign it online, because that, if we don't speak out, this will just continue to happen. Look at that, $2.99 a month. So they want to charge us basically an extra $36. Really, guys? Really, bro? Come on. DTE has said the new charge does not benefit the utility. Think I buy that? I mean, how many millions of people are on DTE Energy that use credit cards and debit cards? And you know what? Let's do some math. Let's do this math. Let's say that right now there are about 3.8 million people in Metro Detroit. Let's just call it maybe a little more than that. Let's say that actually, let me Google this. I want to know exactly how they're not benefiting. How many households are there in Metro Detroit? 1.7 million households. Okay. 1.7. I'm going to round down 1.77, but I'm going to round down to 1.7. Let's say, I don't know, half of them. Is that fair, guys? Half of them are using a credit card or a debit card. So that's 3.4 million households. No, I'm sorry. Divided by 2, not multiplied by 2. That's 850,000 households. Multiplied by 2.99. So that's 2.5 million. Per month. 2.541 million. So that's $30 million over the course of a year that DTE will not apparently be benefiting from, that they're taking in. Okay, DTE. Go tell that top story to somebody else. We're done hearing it at Metro Detroit. And yes, I get heated on this stuff because this affects the people that really can't afford it the most. My one man's opinion. Okay. Let's move on to the last story, because that one's a happier story. Because I end this thing as I always end this thing, and that is what the heck are we going to do here in Metro Detroit this weekend? Come on. There we go. And now that we're at the end, we're talking about what the heck is there to do this weekend in Metro Detroit. Well, I've got 13 things, or Our Magazine does at least, and they think these are good things, and I think some of them are good things and some of them are not. But let's dig in. Okay, so we've got, oh, that's right, Birmingham Blast. Birmingham Blast has canceled because of the weather, right? And so, yes, I had the blog post up. I was all ready. Actually, I was going to go to that because I really like Birmingham Blast. It's actually Birmingham Blast, like burr, like cold, because it's outside. If you guys have been, let me know. But that's one of my favorite events, and unfortunately it canceled. You got Stomp, which is at the Fisher, I believe. No, it's at the Fox. I'm so sorry. Okay. You got the Hubbard Street Dance Studio. Okay. What even is that? Oh, yeah, it's okay. Like Bob Fosse? Okay. August Wilson's Piano Listen, All Shook Up, Picasso at the Le Pin Egal. Okay. That's pretty cool. Players Guild in Dearborn. I'll go with that. The star of the show, of course, is going to be the auto show. Oh, yeah. By the way, that is a Cadillac right there. That is a Cadillac concept car, actually, funny enough. If you haven't been to the auto show, guys, get to the auto show. It's not that expensive. It's like $25, but it is a good time. By the way, don't get the food there. It was not good. If you go to the auto show, a little bit. Okay. When you're looking at the entrance to the auto show, when you're looking at it, right? Look to the left, walk down, go downstairs. If you run the turkey trot, then you know where Hall E is, where you pick up your race pack for the turkey trot. But you go downstairs, you make a right into Hall E. There's a whole second car show of Metro Detroiters that have brought their cars in. And this is the modded show. So a lot of these are modified vehicles. They're rare vehicles. They're like derby cars, even some of them. There's some exotics down there, which is really cool in a roped off area. And guys, there is an Abrams tank. They literally unveiled an Abrams tank last week at the auto show, which was really cool. They had like a general and everything, or whatever they have. But it was actually a really cool thing to see. And it's definitely worth a walkthrough. And it was really empty because a lot of people don't even know it's there, which is cool. That's the third year they've had that, by the way. I didn't even realize that. We got the Harlem Globetrotters in town. That's pretty cool. Okay. Outdoor activities. There are none, guys. Like, let's be real. Do not go outside. Okay. There's a PSA for all my running friends. When you get too far below 20 or 25 degrees, running outside will actually hurt your lungs. So if you don't have one, get a mask. You can go to REI and get a breath warming mask, or you can order them right on Amazon. That's my PSA for outdoor runners, because I really want to run outside. And of course, I don't want to run outside of this. I'll be on the treadmill tomorrow morning. Winter of Vivaldi. So this is actually pretty cool. I've been to this a couple years in a row. Bowers School Farms Winter Park, which is still going, which is awesome, by the way, because you get to go to this thing, the low tubing, and that's it. We have a really dud of a weekend in Metro Detroit. Am I missing anything to do in Metro Detroit, or is our magazine missing anything to do in Metro Detroit that's not on here? Inquiring minds, guys, inquiring minds. And as always, my name is Mike Perna, your host, local real estate agent here in Metro Detroit. I report on news on all things happening in and around Metro Detroit. I don't go left. I don't go right. I go straight to facts. I hope you guys can see that. And yes, actually, check this out. Okay, so here's how this works. The question is, are you running the Free Press Marathon? Oh my gosh. Number one, I run Chicago, come home. I run Free Press over the bridge, through the tunnel, right? The full. And then the next week, 2 weekends later, I go to New York and I'm running New York again. So every year I run New York because that's my favorite marathon of all time. It's my favorite marathon of all time because it's 55,000 runners. It's the biggest marathon in North America. I believe it's the biggest one in the world, but it's really cool because it runs through all 5 boroughs, starting in Staten Island, ending up at Central Park. And these guys are, it's logistically a nightmare, but they pull it off. They put 55,000 people through a start line in like 3 hours. It's crazy. But it's the only one I'll run without music on, because the crowds that let 2.5 million people line the street, the crowds are fantastic. It's the best part. Now, the Detroit Free Press Marathon was voted the #1 marathon in America last year, which is amazing. And I love that so much. It's one of my favorites because, how many times do you get to run an international marathon? Like, let's be real. Like you literally get to go to a different country, run down the Canadian side, and you look to the left, and there's Detroit on the other side of the water. And it's really cool because you get to go over the bridge. The bridge, by the way, for those of you who have not run the Free Press Marathon, is a lot steeper than it looks. But you could feel it, and it's also 2 miles in, or like 2.5 miles in. Like, come on, they could have reversed it. And then you run back up through the tunnel, right? Which is really cool, really cool. Have you run has anybody on here run the Free Press Marathon, either that or the international half, or the international, or the national half, or the US only half is what they call it? God, I probably should ask that question way closer to the beginning because a lot of people left. Anyway, yes, I will be doing the Free Press Marathon. Thank you. Not in these shoes, by the way. Saucony is my shoe of choice for running a race. Doesn't make it good or bad. There you go. Yes. Awesome. You are going to have an amazing time. It's going to be like 7 a.m. and you're going to be standing there questioning your life choices in the dark. It may snow. It snowed multiple years, right? You may see some snowflakes and you're like, what am I even doing? Why am I making these life choices for myself? But it's going to be amazing when you get done. And it is such an accomplishment because so few people in the world ever accomplish something like this arduous, where you're running for several hours. However long, whatever your time is, it doesn't matter, my guy. It does not matter at all. Just the fact that you finish it is amazing. For a half marathon, by the way, I run a sub-3. Not much of a sub-3, like a 240 or 245, but just saying. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much again for joining me. My name is Mike Perna, local real estate agent here in Michigan, trying to report on everything and supporting the metro area, supporting Detroit, and supporting Metro Detroiters and the Detroiters. If you're looking for a property, buying a home, selling a home, whatever you need, if you just need advice, like, hey, I'm thinking about refining, is now a good time? I've got this rate. What would happen? Anything at all, reach out anytime. Michael Perna at thepernateam.com or 248-886-4450. I would be honored. Let me get myself back full screen. I would be honored to get the call to either answer any questions that you might have, literally, and there's no bad question, and I love fielding questions, or help you find your next property or sell your current property. Whatever your real estate needs are, we are going to do our best to negotiate the best on your behalf and provide you the absolute best experience in real estate that Metro Detroit can offer. That's what we do. Thank you guys, and have a great evening. See you next week.